The last time we looked, I think I had put this background picture into my double exposure. So I think it was a couple of different background pictures I experimented with. I ended up liking this one with the trees. There's some different. Hey, Cavani. There's my picture of my person, my buildings, some different birds. I think this background needs something else in it also. So I am going to add, I think, this same parrot that I have over here into my picture up above this tree. To add a picture in, I'm going to go to Image, and I find the same picture, click Open, and I want to resize this to where it looks like the bird is flying over the tree. Then I'm going to get my scissors tool, use my magic mask, and I want to click to erase all of that white around that bird. I don't like how kind of choppy it cut out around the bird, so I'm going to hold Control and press Z to go back, and I'm going to set this feather up a little bit higher. Then when I click, there's kind of this faded color going in instead of a really sharp line. And I also made sure I had this contiguous turned off. So everything that's real white in this picture of the bird, I took off. The next thing I want to do is make this bird look more like it is flying over the tree, so that this wing, I should see part of this black tree. To do that, I'm going to find the layer that has the tree on it. I think it's this one right here. I'm going to get my selection tool. Actually, I'm going to use this magic wand tool. I think it'll be faster. And for right now, I'm going to turn this bird layer off in my layers panel just so that I don't have to mess with it also. I'm going to turn contiguous off so that all the areas of black it's going to select. Then I click on an area of the tree, and you'll see when I'm using this magic wand tool, it's going to select all of those black areas. Now I can turn this layer that has my bird on it back on, get my paintbrush. I'm going to select this layer that's the bird, and I'm going to use this paintbrush to just paint black right over the areas of the bird that I want to overlap. You'll notice when I have things selected, it's not painting everywhere. It's only going to be painting on that part that was selected, that's that part of the tree. So now if I get my arrange tool, I want to deselect everything so I can actually see it again. I held Control and pressed D to deselect. And now my bird looks a little bit more natural, like it's actually flying over the tree, because we can see some of that tree in front of the wing. So just to go through those steps again quickly. So I put my bird wherever I want him to be in the size that I want him to be. Then I'm going to turn that off over at the layers panel, go down to the layer that has the tree that I want selected in it. I get this magic wand tool, make all my adjustments up here. So if you want it to feather, if you want it to be either contiguous or not contiguous, I put not contiguous, click on an area of the tree. I think that actually shows too much. So I'm going to turn my feather down a little bit. Then click on it again. I think that one will look better. Now I go back up and turn on this bird. Make sure in my layers panel that my bird is selected. And now I can get the paintbrush tool. Make sure you're painting with the color that you want. If it's something other than black, you can always click on the color and then click where on your picture you want the color to come from. Like if I'm clicking here, it's going to paint with that exact same color that the tree is made out of. When I start coloring in over the wing, and this is just so that this bird is starting to look like it's actually flying over this tree. Now I hold Control and press D to deselect, and you can see that I have colored in just that part of the tree on top of this bird's wing. You can also play with the colors of this bird. So maybe I want the bird to be a little bit darker. It seems kind of bright for the background right now, I think. So I'm going to get my sponge tool. I'm going to click decrease. My strength is probably good right around 30. I want something big enough. And then I can start decreasing the vibrance, so how bright my bird is. I could decrease the saturation, start making it a little bit more black and white. Maybe I went too far. I can always go back to increase, adjusting the size of my brush and everything as I go until you get your bird or whatever you're working with to look exactly how you want. Maybe I want this top of his head to be a little bit brighter. I can just brighten up kind of his head and leave his tail and his wings a little bit darker. Darken his tail just a little bit. And just slowly work on getting everything in your picture to look like it goes together. When you're done, make sure you're going up to File, down to Save, and then either click PXZ or you might see PXD. Either one of those should work, but make sure that you're saving it as that PXD or PXZ so that it saves all the layers that you're working with. If you save it as any of the other file types, it's just going to save it as a flat picture and you won't be able to adjust all the different layers anymore. Also, make sure that you're downloading it and putting it on your Google Drive. So you click Show in Folder, and then you're going to drag this picture into your Google Drive because especially if you're working on a Chromebook, the Chromebooks frequently delete your downloads to make space.